Hi, I'm Leanne Ely. I'm a nutritionist, a New York Times best-selling author, and some people even say I'm a life coach. I started the Daily Dish Show to share my story, my truth, and my journey to vibrancy, and to inspire others to do the same. Because it's all about grit, perseverance, and finding a way despite the odds. It's about embracing the whole woman, not just the parts that are easy to love, and feeding her heart, mind, body, and soul. But I found that this isn't just my story, it's your story too. It's go time. This is the Daily Dish.
All right, so let's get busy. Talk about commitment. You know, commitment is one of those things that we have to put into the equation. You know, and for our lovely person over here, and I don't know, Eustace from New York, trying to quit smoking, to commit to quit smoking, that is a commitment. That's a decision that you make, and making a decision is a commitment. It is making a commitment. And there's a whole psychological part that goes in with the physical part of what it is that you do. You know, the two go hand in hand. I say that all the time. You have to do the two hand in hand, because everything that you have has to be involved in that commitment, right? So to be 100% on board, 100%, all of you, every cell in your body, every cell all the way truly committed, it's rare, but it's not impossible. It's just a part of the equation. When you understand that commitment is the thing that's going to make you locked and loaded, right? We've got to do this. So the thing is, and can we just be honest here, and pinkies up if you can relate to this, all right? We half-ass most of our commitments. Am I right? Pinkies up, by the way, for those of you who don't know, over here on TikTok, we do this. It's solidarity, right? With our ladies. We half-ass most of them. We say I'm going to do it. I'm all in. I've got this, blah, blah, blah. But the minute it gets rough, we bail, you know? We say, okay, well, I'm going to go find those cigarettes, for example, or you know what, that diet's too hard, or I can't eat like this, and just this once I'm going to go do this. And we find ourselves back into that crazy negative loop of doing the same old thing, the same old way, and feeling just the same old crap that we felt before. It's true. It's true. That's the truth. And you know, it hurts, doesn't it? It hurts because our commitments aren't serious enough. Our commitments don't take us to the mat enough, do they? And I want to talk about that because this is important. If you want what you say you want, then you're going to commit to that. You're not going to half-ass it. You're not going to just say, well, you know, it just got hard and then we got invited out to dinner and now I'm just going to throw the whole thing away. Or whatever it is that you're doing. Really? Are you going to make a decision to throw everything away? That shows you where your commitment is. And I'm talking about somebody who's broken her commitment over and over and over again to myself. Yes, I have. But when we identify with that commitment and identify that, for example, Eustace in New York, I am a non-smoker. I am a non-smoker is your new identity. We identify with what it is that we want to be. I am an athlete. I've shared that story with you. Listen, this is what we have to do. We have to get deep into the commitment of who it is that we want to be and show up like that. Even if you don't show up like that, even if you only quit smoking for an hour, even if you only started exercising last week or yesterday or an hour ago, your identification and who you identify with is going to help solidify that commitment. You feel me? It's just really super important. So, you know, we find ourselves maybe we're really good. We're committed to our marriages and raising our kids and tending to our older parents. Maybe that commitment's solid as a rock. And you're going, well, wait a minute, I'm solid. I've been married 45 years or whatever it is. But I'm talking about the commitment that you make to yourself. To yourself. We don't think about breaking that commitment to ourselves as being any big deal, when what it is a big old ding against your integrity. It's saying that your promises don't hold. They don't stand up. That's the hard truth of what that is. So we have to stop straddling the fence. That's exhausting, 100% exhausting. And it's a time suck, because will I quit smoking? Will I not quit smoking? Will I stay with the smoke? Well, maybe, the craving's just too hard right now, or this, that, and the other thing. But the decision, the commitment, is that where you are with that kind of a commitment? Are you committed to yourself? Are you committed enough to your own integrity to stay the course, even when it's hard? I'm just asking a question. You tell me. Are you? You tell me. I believe it's imperative to figure out what we want. And then we have to plan for it. We have to follow through for it. And we have to be all in by being 100% committed to it. 100%. Not 90%, not 95%, not 98%, 100%. Have you noticed that 90% will suck the living life out of you because there's still wiggle room, but 100% commitment, you've got blinders on. That's your new goal. And your GPS is now, it's no longer wiggling around like this. Your GPS is like zoom right there. You're going right for it. You're not gonna go anywhere else. In a wedding, if you go to a Jewish wedding, have you ever been to a Jewish wedding? In a Jewish wedding, do you know what they do? They take those wine glasses and they smash them so that there is never, ever, ever an opportunity to put that wine glass back together. And the whole idea of this is that we will never sip from another wine glass again, that there is a commitment there. It's beautiful. It's a beautiful symbolic thing. But that wine glass needs to get smashed. Have you smashed your wine glass yet? Have you smashed it, broken it into a bazillion bits, and said that everything that I believe in about myself is on the line here? I am 100% committed, and let go of everything else. Can I tell you what happens when that happens? You change your life is what happens. That commitment is strengthened and strong simply because you've made that decision to be that person. Commitment's a whole lot like food, because it doesn't care whether and I'll explain that in a minute, how food is, right? But it simply doesn't care whether or not you're going to go for it or not. Commitment it just is a solid thing. It doesn't care. It doesn't have really a moral compass, if you will. It's not a person. Commitment is something that you choose and you put on and you lock and load it. That's it. That's how the whole thing works. So here's the thing. You can't go and say, I'm committed, but what that does, the but opens the door to all kinds of half-assery. An exception here, an exception there, and all of that. And when I say this, commitment isn't about perfect. It's about excellence. It's about going all in. It doesn't mean that you won't waver. It doesn't mean that you won't fall down a little bit. It means that when you do, because you aren't perfect, you're not going to throw the baby out with the bathwater and say, that's it, I'm done. Didn't work for me. No, you say, you know what, I messed up, but I'm going to get back on it, and I'm going to do the work that is necessary to stay committed. And, when you say the but word, when you say I am committed, but you suck all the air out of the commitment, and the commitment becomes, nothing. It's just words, no action, no action. So consider this, that your choices that you make are all based on the strength of the commitment that you've made. I'm going to say this again because this needs to be written down. The choices that you make are all based on commitment. So when we talk about L-glutamine, for example, helping with a craving, if you decide that L-glutamine holds the key to the kingdom and that it's magic pixie dust and there's nothing required of you, no brain thought, no commitment, no nothing required of you, you're going to be grossly disappointed, because that is not how the human body works. We can take care of physiological hankering, sure, but the psychological piece, put it in place. You got to put it in place. This is the mindset piece. Between your ears is the place where lives are changed. Not just, like I said, this ain't magic pixie dust. It's a helpful tool. Tools are meant to be taken out of the box and used. Amen? But those tools require a hand and somebody to look at it and somebody to move the screwdriver or hit the hammer or whatever it is. You've got to be a part of the action. That's how this whole thing works. So people will say, oh, I had a hard time. Life happened. You know how it is. But being fully committed, you're driven by excellence. You're not driven by perfection. Being fully committed means you will find a way. Does that sound familiar? Diana Nyad, at 64 years old, crossed that ocean. She crossed that ocean for the third time, hoping and praying, but committed to get across that ocean. Jellyfish stinging her, sharks all around. It was not a fun thing. When she got ashore finally, her face was swollen from all the jellyfish stings and everything else. But she kept going. And you know what it is? Her message, find a way, is the message that drilled a hole in my heart that said, I have to commit. Without commitment, I'm nothing. Without commitment to this goal, to this place that I want to go, to having this in my life, I am not going to, I'm not going to get it. But I can find it. I might not be able to see how right now, but I have to find a way. I'm going to Diana Nyad this whole thing. That's how it's going to be. We can be committed, but find an excuse, or we can be fully committed and we can find a way. Which one do you want? Because those are the two choices, right? There is no middle ground. There is no half commitment. It's just excuses or truth, and finding that commitment and staying the course. Now, all of us in our, we're always looking for motivation to keep us going. But the fact is, motivation wears thin, doesn't it? It wears thin. It's the commitment that keeps us going. Even when we don't want to, we're working out. Even when we don't want to, we're making a better choice with our food, for example. Even when we don't want to, we take the dog out and walk him because it's imperative for the dog's health and for yours too. So when we commit, we make a plan and we stick to it. Have you noticed that? We do. Has anybody noticed that? We make a plan. Committed people don't just wing the day and hope for the best. No. They've got a plan. They've got things that they're going to do. So I'm going to tell you a little story. I got COVID, by the way, Anne, you know this. I got COVID, and 2 days of just feeling pretty crappy and having a fever. And then we started to feel better, but exhausted. Didn't get back. This is a month ago. And my life, and it was playing a lot of pickleball and all of this, is just like, oh my gosh, where did my strength workouts go? So I started thinking, well, yesterday I was like, well, I'm going to put it in here and I'm going to put it in there. So you know what happened? Had us talk with Mark about what he could do to help me so that I could get my strength training done, because I was taking it all on. It was all me. Well, guess what? I have a partner, in my life who can do some things. He can take the dog out for a walk and I can do my strength training. We figure it out. We Diana and I, and we plan for it. Or you just let it go. But that's half-assery. And that's not going to work. So what do we do when we're tired? We think about Diana swimming tired with jellyfish in her face and all those sharks around. That's what we do. We keep going. We're tired. But we're going to complete this thing because we said we're going to do it. We're going to do it. That's what we're made out of, right? Diane and I all the way. We're running out of time. Well, then maybe we do a little bit less. We reset for tomorrow and we figure out where to find that time. We don't excuse ourselves. We don't completely say, oh, well, it's just hard. Life got in the way. How often is life going to get in the way? It's always going to get in the way. There's always going to be something. There's breaking news on TV every 10 minutes, right? But the question's always the same. And I'm going to ask you this. I'm going to ask you this and write it down. How bad do you want it? How bad do you want to quit smoking? How bad do you want to lose that weight once and forever? How bad do you want to live a vibrant life? How bad do you want to see your grandchildren and be a part of their lives and do things with them? How bad do you want that? That's the question you got to ask yourself. Because motivation is going to fuel your desire and it's going to drive you to get started. That's the truth, 100%. But commitment is your determination and your dedication, 100%. Without that, you've got nothing except a lot of stops and starts. A lot of stops and starts, a lot of stops and starts, a lot of stops and starts. And then you just bag the whole thing. Oh, well, it's just not for me. I guess I'll just put up with this mediocre life and half-assery and lack of commitment. Sure, go ahead. And tell me in 10 years, how does that make you feel? How does this make me feel? I ask myself that question all the time. Is this going to make me feel good? Or is this going to make me feel bad? Why don't we ask ourselves this question? We have to. Because when we ask ourselves these kinds of questions, then we get into the thing, we start asking ourselves, why am I doing this? Why am I doing this very thing that's just pulling me down and keeping me trapped in a life I don't want? Lack of commitment. A lack of commitment every single time will deliver you a lack of a life that you want as well. And I'm sorry, that's the bone honest truth. And if you don't like what you're living right now, change your commitment. Make your commitment about yourself, your health, and what it is that you want to go after. You want a vibrant life. You can't do it trapped in a body that's full of pain and you can't do anything. You can't. You can't do it. You know that. I mean, this is not breaking news, right? So how do we connect to commitment? And how do we even take it to the place where we can start automating our commitments a little bit better? How about that? Well, number one is we need to do a big picture analysis. And we have a hard time with that sometimes. Big picture analysis are everything because the big picture analysis takes us to the place of seeing exactly what the heck is going on here. It helps us to see, what's getting in the way here? I've got too much to do. It's too packed up here. I need to spread some stuff out and maybe break some things down. It gives us that opportunity instead of emoting over it and saying, I just can't. It's too hard. I'm overwhelmed. Those are all cop-outs, y'all. Stop it. Oh, I can't because, or he won't let, or it's this, that. It's stupid. I'm really tired of hearing stuff like that. I'm tired of it coming out of my own mouth because the fact remains that if I'm committed, if I'm going to go after it, if I'm going to live the vibrant life that I want, then I have to be all in. I can't put my toe in the pool and keep taking it out. And either can you. It's never worked for a single soul that I know. Not a soul. Never seen it. So let's say you've got a big picture analysis. You have to break it down. Let's say you've got a goal of losing 100 pounds. What does that look like for today? Don't worry about, it's going to take so long. And what about my skin? I get little messages like this all the time. I'm really worried about the loose skin. Why aren't you worried about the 100 pounds, for God's sakes? What about your organs? What about your body? What about your breath? What about the vibrancy that you have? Are you worried about loose skin? We'll get there, sister. Let's worry about your health right now, right? Get your eye on the prize. Okay? Commit. Break it down. Create a master plan. Who gets this, right? You got to create a master plan. And you too, for smoking, create a master plan. What does this look like? What can I do? How can I do it today? There's so much you can do. And there's so many things action that you can take and do so that you're not stuck doing the same old thing, sitting on the couch and jonesing for a cigarette. Get up and walk out the door and take a walk. Do something different. Change your mind, change your life. Change it. It's time. So we have to stop looking at how long it's going to take and start looking at each day, because your opportunity is in today, right? It's not about next week or next month. It's today. What are you going to do today? What choices are you going to make? What commitments are you going to stand on today? Is it shifting sand or a solid rock? Just answer that. What's your commitment about? Now, think about road trips for a minute. Anybody go on a road trip? You're here and you're going to go 500 miles away. Any direction, just go ahead and figure out, where are you going? Well, I will tell you, to do this, you got to plan it out. You got to stop for fuel. You got to rest, and then you got to keep going. Right? Just tell me, isn't this the truth? Anybody been on a road trip? When you're on a road trip, you're adjusting constantly. Oh, well, let's go over here. My little fuel app says that they've got diesel over here. We have a diesel car. We're always looking for diesel when we're on the road, right? Do that. Keep doing this. Plan it out. Stop for fuel. Rest, and then keep going. Plan it out. Stop for fuel. Rest, and then keep going. That's what it's about. That's how you get a 500-mile trip done, and that's how you get to your goal as well. Yeah. So commitment to excellence is in the small things daily. In the small things daily. That leads to excellence in all the things. And you can be proud about your accomplishments. You can be proud about the life you're leading. You can be vibrant in that life. Because Joanne said it, every day is a new day to commit. It is. Every day you can recommit to your goals. You recommit. There you go. Ben says he stopped in Chicago, Kansas City, Denver, and Vegas, but they had a plan, right? They had a plan. I can see this. I can see that. I know Kansas City stopped there before Denver. Yep. I can see how you did this. Of course. So commitment to excellence in the small things daily leads to excellence in all the things. So what else do we need? Number 2, get yourself a vision board. Oh my gosh, can I just tell you about Nancy's vision board? So Nancy was here for Full Bloom. I will tell you, this was crazy. She had on her vision board that she wanted to be on Wanda, and she had, she had all of it, that she went and took pictures. She took all these pictures and put them back on her board, right? About what it was that she did. That was on her board. This is what she wanted. She went after it. How do you think she got there? One day at a time. She saved her pennies. She made sure that it was going to happen because she wanted it really bad. She committed to it. And I'm just saying that when we commit to something, we can make those road trips happen. We can make the road trip. We have a starting place. We have an end place, and we know exactly where to stop. We know how to plan. We know how to fuel. We know how to rest. And then we know how to keep going. We need to use our why matrix for the win. You know why? Because you're deep down inside. Your why is the thing that burns inside of you and keeps you going. Can I talk about that? Listen, if you have never heard me talk about the why matrix, I know TikTok hasn't. I'm going to tell you about this. You ask yourself why until you get to the crux of the matter. And I'm going to tell you, this can be deep and personal, and it can make you cry. It did to me. When I kept asking myself, why do I want this? Why do I want this? It finally got down to, because I don't like my life the way it is. It makes me sad. I'm depressed. I'm this, that. This is a few years ago. And if that is the case, then fix it. This is your one life that you get to live. This is the one body that you're going to do it in. You don't get to trade it in. This ain't a car, y'all. Ask for the why, because that's the deeper motivation. You want something? then you're motivated and the why hits you all the way to the core, then that's the greatness of your commitment. Your commitment shines from there. I'm going to tell you this, that commitment is deeply personal, and so is your why. But the fact is, today can be the day that you turn the page and you say, no more half-assery. I am going to commit 100% to everything that I want. Because I'm going to tell you right now, you're here on purpose, for purpose, fearfully and wonderfully made. And if you don't believe that, then that's not true. You are here on purpose. And you find your purpose by being committed to those things that are planted and burning inside of you. Be the light that you want in your life. Don't keep searching for it. That vibrancy that you want is it's inside. And all you have to do is commit to that, and you will get it. Promise. It's not going to be 100% perfect, but boy, oh boy, will it be excellent. And I'm going to tell you right now, today is the day. Start today. You can turn the page and commit 100% to the life you want. 100%, because that's the only way you're going to get it. Am I right? Love y'all. I'm a little on fire today. I'm feeling a little feisty, but I appreciate you showing up. So peace be with you. Peace out to YouTube and Facebook, and hold on TikTok. I've got your back. Let's go.
Thank you for joining me today. You can find me on TikTok for daily tips to help support your most vibrant life. And remember, you are the author of your own story. Until next time.